WSTB, Clarksville. Hey everybody, welcome to today's session at St. Bethlehem's United Methodist Church with Pastor Richard Wesley and co-host Ashley Kettle. Enjoy.
Hi, and welcome to WSTB, Clarksville. I'm Richard Wesley, and I'm here in the St. Bethlehem United Methodist Church studio with our co-host, Ashley Kettle. Hi, Ashley.
Hello.
And as you can see, John Wesley Bobblehead has a new pulpit. He has been wanting that pulpit for a long time. Special thanks to the Tennessee tinkerer, Andy Kettle, for making this authentic time period pulpit. It's made out of wood that was in one of the lecterns that was here at St. Bethlehem United Methodist Church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so got a lot of importance and significance to it for John Wesley Bobblehead as well as for us here at the St. Bethlehem United Methodist Church. Well, this Sunday at St. Bethlehem United Methodist Church, we are highlighting our brand new favorite song list. You know, recently we did a new survey because it had been, I guess, 4 years, 3.5, 4 years since we had taken a survey of what the favorite hymns from our people. And you know what? Those hymns changed. Yeah, they changed. We've got some new favorites on that list. We'll be talking to you more about the songs that are on that list Sunday morning and maybe from time to time on our WSTB videos. But this week we're going to sing in the traditional worship service the two favorite hymns. The number one favorite hymn of this congregation is In the Garden. And number two was Amazing Grace. This Sunday in the 9 o'clock service, that's November the 18th, we are looking at Mark chapter 13. It's following the story that we saw last week. And the disciples are leaving the temple. Last week they saw a woman, a poor widow, just threw everything that she had because she was penniless and homeless, threw everything she had into the treasury. And as they're leaving the temple from that scene, the disciples stop and they look back at this magnificent temple that Herod had built for them. And they're talking about how impressive it is. This Sunday, we're going to talk about what impresses us. Then in the Exploring Life service, we're going to sing Amazing Grace. That comes off of that favorite list. And we're in Mark chapter 9, beginning with verse 32. This is the confusing passage of Scripture where Jesus said, you know, if your hand is what's keeping you from living out the kingdom values, you'd be better off cutting that hand off. And then he does the same thing with the foot and the eye. So we're going to look at that this Sunday. It's an interesting set of Scriptures. Hey. You're pretty smart.
Sometimes.
You're going to know this. You're going to know this. What did the cowboy say at his second rodeo?
No clue.
God, he said, "This ain't my first rodeo, there, son."
Of course he did.
Yeah, this ain't my first rodeo. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You know what's really odd?
What?
Numbers that you can't divide by 2. That's really odd. Every one of them. 3. It's odd.
It is odd.
17.
It's odd.
133. I mean, it's just odd. It's just odd.
Would you add yourself to that odd list?
Moving right on along. Now it's my time to sit back and it's not odd at all to hear Ashley's top 5 list.
All right.
Yes.
This week we are talking about the top 5 books for United Methodist, and this comes from the United Methodist Publishing House. There were 10 of them, and I picked out the ones that stood out to me. Even though I'm not United Methodist, I think I could still read a few of them.
I think you could.
there was one fiction book on this list, and it is called A Fragile Hope. And it is by Cynthia Rucci. I'm not sure I'm saying her name right, but it sounded very interesting. And you can go to the UM Publishing or um.org to get these.
Okay.
And read a little bit more about them.
Nice.
Okay, the second one is an Adam Hamilton book.
Okay.
And it is called Moses in the Footsteps of the Reluctant Prophet.
Ah.
And he retraces the life of Moses from, his birth and just going on up to leading the people from Egypt.
Nice.
Okay. And the another one is by a United Methodist pastor, Reverend Don Underwood, and the name of the book is Pray Like Jesus, Rediscovering the Lord's Prayer.
Ah,
It is
yes.
something that we say every week, even in the Cumberland Presbyterian tradition, and we don't always know exactly what we're saying, so I think that would be a very interesting
A
read.
very good book.
And a devotional book, 40 Days with Wesley, a devotional journey by one of your favorites, Reuben Job.
Reuben Job, Bishop Job, yes.
So, it talks about John Wesley, reading and quotes and stuff from John Wesley. And this was my number one favorite.
Ah.
It's called Stepping on Cheerios, Finding God in the Chaos and Clutter of Life. Now, it talks about, it's written by a female pastor, United Methodist pastor, and she's got young kids, but reading the synopsis of this book, you don't have to have kids. My life is like this without kids. I mean, you can find Cheerios on my floor at home and all kinds, so that's not just for mothers, or with young kids. I think it'd be a really good book.
Very nice.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, what do we have to look forward to next week?
Next week, Thanksgiving.
Yes, it is. That's right. Thanksgiving is next week.
Yes, it is. And, the Butterball Turkey has a hotline. And every year they release some of the craziest things that they've had people call in and ask about turkeys. So we're going to reveal some of those things. Now, I do remember one year my grandmother, my meemaw, she was a little kind of nutty, but she left the giblets in the turkey.
Oh, no.
You're not supposed to do that. So
No,
we
that's
didn't have
not
turkey
good.
that year.
You didn't have turkey
No.
that year, yeah.
Memorable Thanksgiving.
Memorable Thanksgiving. So she might have called and said, "What do I do?" And they said, "Throw it out."
Yes, that might have been it. Yes.
There you go. All right, well, I'll look forward to hearing that. Well, that concludes today's episode of WSTB Clarksville. We're glad you spent this time with us. We'll look forward to seeing you Sunday. Say goodbye, Ashley.
Goodbye, Ashley.
Goodbye, Ashley. Yeah. So your grandmother left the giblets in the...
Not only that, but then one year she got upset because there were no giblets. And she had actually just gotten a turkey that, like the breast that doesn't come with the giblets.
Yeah.
So she was upset that thought someone stole them from the turkey.
Oh, no.
So I get my kind of...
Giblet leaf.
Yeah. I get my looniness from my grandmother.
From grandma.
Yeah.
We'd like to report it to you.
Yeah.
We don't know if it happened at Kroger or at home, but there's no giblets in our turkey.